side. 30, 20, 15. They will not catch him today. This week in Inside Bobcat Football, the Cats battle the Panthers of Georgia State, and we have the highlights from Bobcat Stadium. Plus, a look at the role the running backs play here at Texas State, and the halfway point has been met by the Bobcat volleyball team. We visit with Associate Head Coach Tracy Smith. All that and more coming up as Inside Bobcat Football starts right now.
It was a historic night at Bobcat Stadium this past Saturday as the Bobcats earned their first ever Sun Belt Conference win with a 24-17 victory over the Georgia State Panthers. Coach Fran now joins us. We're in the club level at Bobcat Stadium. And Coach, leading up to the ball game, you told your team, you told others that the Georgia State Panthers were an experienced, well-coached football team. And I think we saw a lot of that on Saturday night.
They played well. That team keeps playing like that. They're going to win some games, and they've got a bright future, and I think Coach Miles is doing a good job with them.
The Panthers opened up the ball game with an impressive touchdown run. After that, though, this Bobcat defense that's been playing lights out all season held Georgia State to 56 yards on 24 plays until halftime. You do it without David Mayo, your leading tackler, who went down on the first drive of the game. What adjustments did Coach Nivar and the defensive staff make after that first drive?
I don't know if there were a lot of adjustments made. We settled in, and they hit the big reverse on us. We should have defended a little better. We had a blitz over there, and that set them up with field position, and then they just executed pretty well. And we settled in after that and played Bobcat defense.
Outstanding night for the running backs, for sure. Late in the first quarter, Chris Nuttall takes off on a 34-yard run to even the score at 7 apiece. Outstanding blocking on that play. If you would, take us through the anatomy of what was a really nice run.
That's our stretch midline read play where Tyler has to read the defensive lineman, and he got a give read and gave the ball to Chris. The line did a good job of stretching the defense, and Chris did a good job reading the blocks and cutting it back. After Tyler reads the D lineman, he can go kind of try to block him a little bit, and he got just enough of a piece of him that he couldn't make the play on Chris. And then really after that, the blocks were good, and Chris did the rest, and he kind of walked him into the end zone from about the 6-yard line with the strength in his legs.
You mentioned the offensive line, you mentioned the blocking. Later in the first half, a 59-yard run by Rob Lowe around the right corner set up a Jason Dan field goal. And I guess my question to you is, what does it take to have an explosive running play? I know it takes all 11 guys doing their job.
Well, first off, the offensive line has to execute their blocks, and we did a good job on that play. Sometimes the quarterback has to check us to the right play, and Tyler did a good job on that. And then the difference between it being sometimes a 7-yard gain and a 57-yard gain is how the receivers and the tight ends do with the perimeter things that they need to do.
All right, Coach, you go into the locker room on Saturday night ahead, 10-7. We'll take a look at the first half highlights.
The Bobcats are searching for their first win in Sun Belt Conference play as they battle the Georgia State Panthers from Bobcat Stadium. GSU was up early 7-0, but then Texas State's defense stiffened up as the Panthers didn't score again for another 44 minutes of the game. Georgia State running back Travis Evans had an especially tough time finding space against the Bobcats' 11th-ranked rush defense, averaging less than 4 yards a carry against Texas State. The Bobcats' running game, no issues there. Chris Nuttall takes a handoff from Tyler Jones and gashes right through the Georgia State defense and over the Panthers as well as Nuttall stiff-arms Demarius Matthews as he plows into the end zone for the touchdown, giving us a tied game at 7 late in the first quarter. Ensuing drive for Georgia State, and on third down, sophomore quarterback Ronnie Bell runs out of time in the pocket as Blake McCulloch and DJ Yendry converge on the sack, a big play which ends the first quarter. Following a punt by GSU, the Bobcats have the ball back, and the first play of the drive is a big one for Robert Lowe, who explodes right by the Panthers for a 59-yard run. Just another day at the office for the second leading rusher in the Sun Belt, who averaged over 8 yards a carry on Saturday. And that big run sets up an easy 20-yard field goal for Jason Dan, who stays perfect on the year, now 4 for 4 as he gives Texas State a 10-7 lead. Next drive for Georgia State, and with Travis Evans slowed down by Texas State's defense, the Panthers try to go with Jonathan John Barton, who gets stuffed for no gain. Next play, it's third down for the Panthers, and quarterback Ronnie Bell doing his best to keep the play alive, scrambling every which way until eventually he finds an open receiver in the flat, and it's John Bard who gets drilled by Mike Rakpo for a loss of 2, leading to a GSU punt. Next possession for Texas State, and true freshman quarterback Tyler Jones rolls out and on a rope delivers a strike to Isaiah Battle for a 13-yard gain inside of Georgia State territory. 2 plays later on 3rd and 3, the Bobcats give the ball to Lowe again, this time on a draw, and Lowe slashes right through the Panthers again for 14 yards and a first down. Although the Bobcats' final first-half possession ends in a turnover, Texas State's defense made sure Georgia State wasn't scoring any points before halftime either, as Blake McCulloch sacks Bell late in the second quarter, helping end a once-promising drive for the Panthers. At the end of the first half, the score is Texas State 10, Georgia State 7.
Color match test complete.
Are you making it just any night? Or are you making it remember that night? Are you making it dinner after the game? Or are you making it a victory meal? Are you making it good enough? Or are you making it great with America's #1 choice, Pizza Hut? Now Pizza Hut offers that great pizza at a great price, the $10 any carryout deal. Any pizza, any size, any toppings, now just $10 when you carry out. We all have a choice. Get America's #1 pizza and make it great.
How do you show your Bobcat pride? Now you can show it off and keep your money here at Texas State, because whenever you buy at the University Bookstore at Texas State, that money stays here on campus. Apparel, books, gifts, and much more. Online or in the heart of Bobcat country, find it, get it, and keep it on campus. University Bookstore at Texas State, your bookstore.
There's plenty of depth at the running back position here at Texas State with plenty of roles to fill. We break them down for you here on Inside Bobcat Football. Jones with the handoff. That's to Lowe running left inside the 15, inside the 10 to the end zone for the Bobcat touchdown.
Just seeing opposite color and cutting off the opposite color, running past the opposite quarter and trying to get into a touchdown. That's all it is. It's a blur. You know, after you get past the first level, it's just all natural. You just do your thing, try to get into the end zone.
Handoff is to Nuttall up the middle, breaking a tackle 30, down the far sideline, 40, 30, 20, 15. They will not catch him today. 77 yards for the Bobcat touchdown. We've seen some explosive plays this year from Robert Lowe and Chris Nuttall, but they wouldn't be possible without the hard-hitting impact of lead blocker Tim Gay.
I prefer myself to be an all-purpose back. I would like to catch the ball, block, run, halfback pass, throw, anything. You know, I would love for my teammates to rely on me. If anything, if they need anything from me, you know, I do it to the best of my ability.
Tim Gay is a physical back. He's very strong.
and he's a get-in-your-face kind of guy. You come up to block him, he's not going to cut block you. He's going to stand up to you kind of guy.
He runs like a truck. It's like hitting a brick wall.
Tim Gay breaks a tackle down the sideline across midfield, inside the 30, 20, 15. They will not catch him today.
It's an adrenaline rush. Like, as soon as you see that open grass, all that's in your head is score, score, score. You hope and pray that nobody tackles you from behind. I'm not saying that I'm slow, but you just once you've seen that, it's just a light at the end of the tunnel.
Low, up the middle, breaks a tackle 35, bounces outside 20, 15, 10, cuts back inside of the 5, dives, end zone, touchdown Texas State.
Texas State is a place that encourages dreams and offers connections that make those dreams come true.
A place that engages minds and hearts. A place that puts my passion to work in ways to strengthen my community.
What I learn at Texas State helps me reach beyond the campus and make a difference in the real world.
Just a game. Then it became your passion. You've sacrificed everything to arrive at this moment.
Where my dogs at? Where my dogs at? Yeah!
This is where it all comes together.
Oh yeah! He's got it! 20, 10, 5, touchdown!
And this is where it happens.
The second half opens with the Bobcats holding on to a 10-7 lead over Georgia State. Texas State with the ball first, and the offense picks up where left off with the first half with the running game as Robert Lowe sprints ahead for 18 yards. Following a turnover on downs, Georgia State has the ball in offense for the first time in the third quarter, but the Panthers are once again turned back by Texas State's defense. Bobcats' next drive at face with 3rd and 9 deep in their own territory. Quarterback Tyler Jones comes up with a big throw to Ben Ija, who picks up 11 yards and a first down. 2 plays later, it's more Robert Lowe. The sophomore from Waxahachie slices right through Georgia State's defense for 19 more yards. Now to the fourth quarter, the Bobcats still leading 10-7. GSU still trying out its running game against Texas State's defense, but to no avail as Evans is brought down for a loss of 1. The game now tied at 10 with 11 minutes left to play, and Ben Ija comes up with a huge catch, forcing the pile ahead for a 14-yard pickup and a key first down. Later in the drive with Texas State, now the GSU 44. Nuttall on the draw and puts a crossover move on one defender in the backfield, shoots the gap, and then finishes the run by plowing through a few more Panthers for a 35-yard gallop. And Nuttall capped off his night with his second touchdown of the game, giving the Bobcats back the lead 17-10 with 8 minutes left to play. Later in the fourth, with under 5 minutes to go, Georgia State going forward on 4th and 4 from their own 39, and Ronnie Bell's pass is picked off by Justin Awuji, who returns the interception 27 yards up to the Panther 18-yard line, putting the Bobcats in position to put the game away. And put the game away they did. Robert Lowe barrels into the end zone for the touchdown. A fitting finish for the Bobcat offense, which piled up nearly 300 yards on the ground, 170 of that coming from Lowe himself. The Panthers' Adelaide touchdown, but it's the Bobcats who are victorious as they earn their first ever Sun Belt Conference win. The final score, Texas State 24, Georgia State 17.
Coach, we move to the fourth quarter. The game's tied at 10 apiece. Georgia State had just put up a field goal. And then the Bobcats put together the drive of the night. 8 plays, 77 yards, 52 of those yards on the ground. Chris Nuttall punched it in from 3 yards out. On the night, the Bobcat run game had 296 yards, a season high. You had to be proud. I know we've talked about the offense already, but had to be proud. The offensive line maybe having their best game of the season, plus or minus, and Rob Lowe and Chris Nuttall, quite a duo.
We'd like to think we had 300 yards rushing because we lost 4 on that last play where we just took a knee. So we're claiming that right now. The line did have a good game. They really did. And, of course, our 2 backs ran very, very well. And we kept feeding them the ball in different ways, and they made enough things happen. And that was a great drive. Georgia State gets the field goal to make it 10-10, and we answer immediately, and that's what you want to do with your football team is go back ahead when you get the football, and we did that.
You're up 17-10. We move on to the latter stages of the fourth quarter. The defense, we've talked about, had another great night at the office. The Georgia State Panthers elect to go for it on 4th down in their own territory. And then Justin Awuji makes one of the plays of the night where he undercuts a Ronnie Bell's pass. And sure, it was a tremendous play by Awuji, but what that play told me is he was a prepared football player and he knew his opponent.
Good points. And also he's a smart football player. And Justin kind of baited the quarterback and kind of knew what to look for and did a great job of stepping in front of it. And I kidded him on Sunday about you need to try to get one of these in the end zone instead of just running it back a few yards. But it was a good play on his part, certainly.
You talk about it constantly with your players. Your staff conveys the message to the guys about being ready for your opportunity. I mentioned earlier Mayo went down. Damian McMiller, he gets a career-high 15 tackles on Saturday. Steven Smith, young fella, steps up, career-high 6 tackles. And you also had Ija, who had 2 of the best, not long receptions, but a tremendous job twice in getting yards after the catch to pick up key first downs. There were guys who were answering the bell.
Yeah, all of those guys that you mentioned did a nice job for us. Steven Smith's going to be a good football player. He is a good football player, but he's going to get better and better and better. Redshirt freshman, and last night or Saturday night was his 7th football game. So he's got a bright future ahead of him. And you know, when you have somebody go down, somebody's got to come in and make plays. And we were fortunate we had guys do that.
All right, Coach. Well, there's Georgia State. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll close the book on the Panthers and look forward to homecoming and the South Alabama Jaguars.
Tim Gay breaks a tackle down the sideline across midfield, inside the 30, 20, 15. They will not catch him today. Touchdown. Catch Inside Bobcat Football with Dennis Franchione, Tuesday on the Time Warner Cable Sports Channel, and in Houston, Thursdays on the Comcast Sports Network. One man right to throw, throws over the middle, pass picked off by Awuji. at the 35, 30, inside the 25-yard line, and down to the 19. First and 10 coming up, Texas State.
Trying to make a play. We hadn't gotten takeaway all game, and I saw him running the slant. I was able to make a great drive on the ball, intercept it.
Coach, I read where one writer, in describing the Bobcats' win on Saturday, said it wasn't a virtuoso performance, but it was a winning performance. And I think for a lot of people, that was one of the significant takeaways from Saturday night, is to win the football game. It's never easy to win. A lot of work goes in each week throughout the year to win football games.
I think that's a good description. You know, we probably played it a little more conservative than some games. We were going to make sure that our running backs had a chance to win the game for us in our offensive line, and that we were going to avoid losing the game. We felt like if we did that first, that we would come out on the good side of things. And then you can't forget that our defense is playing so well, and so not wanting to put them in bad situations. Our punter kicks it dead inside the 20 4 times, I believe, and our kicking game has been pretty solid. So you play to your strengths and you hide your weaknesses and best you can, and you know, the bottom line, as Bill Parcells used to say, you find a way to win, and that's what we were able to do.
You sure did, Coach. Now, it doesn't get any easier. This upcoming Saturday, the South Alabama Jaguars will be here. One of the surprises, I think, in the league this year, South Alabama, a record of 3-3 on the year, 1-1 in Sun Belt Conference play. The offense for South Alabama, they're second in passing and third in scoring in the league. Real good quarterback. What do they try to do offensively?
They're pretty balanced. They throw it a little bit more than run, but their quarterback is pretty heady, pretty smooth operator. They play two of them, but they've got a nice, sound offensive plan, and they're really good on defense. They're really aggressive, really up-tempo, they have good athletes, they have good team speed. You know, I think they are a little bit of a surprise to some people, but not to the coaches in this league, because at meetings this summer, all of them told me how good South Alabama was getting and how physical they play the game. And now, as we've watched the film this week, we see all those things coming to fruition.
You mentioned the defensive side of the ball, 15 sacks already for South Alabama. Looked like they really tried to pressure the quarterback.
They do. They're aggressive. They're going to take some chances. They're going to play a lot of man free, and bring extra people, so you have to handle their pressure.
All right, Coach, again, congratulations for the win over Georgia State. We'll see you at homecoming this upcoming Saturday, 6 p.m. against South Alabama.
All right.
Color match test complete.
How do you show your Bobcat pride? Now you can show it off and keep your money here at Texas State, because whenever you buy at the University Bookstore at Texas State, that money stays here on campus. Apparel, books, gifts, and much more. Online or in the heart of Bobcat country, find it, get it, and keep it on campus. University Bookstore at Texas State, your bookstore.
The freshman quarterback calls for the snap. Hands off to Nuttall. Up the middle. 25. Boxes outside 20. 15. 10. Inside the 5. Pylon. Touchdown, Texas State. Sunbelt plays in full swing for the Texas State volleyball program under head coach Karen Chisholm. We visit with associate head coach Tracy Smith to talk about the Bobcat season.
We're right there skill-wise, talent-wise. The ability to win this conference is still there, but obviously we've got to make some changes to close out those 5-game matches, because if we had won all 3, we would be in first right now solely. And that's hard to wrap yourself around as a team, but hopefully it motivates them to go even more and get ready for the second chance at everybody we've already played first. We've had some great moments. I mean, you'll see some very, very good volleyball moments out there in strings. So we're very pleased with that from all levels, from freshmen all the way up to seniors, so it's not just seniors. And the future looks good because of those young ones who are making some key plays in their young careers. However, we have to also learn how to push back. When the other team starts to push, we've got to push back, and then we'll win those 5-game matches rather than be on the losing side. No, the WAC last year, New Mexico State and UTSA were 1-2, and we beat both those teams. So we were right there too. Again, it was just lack of consistency. I think both of these conferences, since we've left the Southland, you have to show up every match and you have to show up every point. And I think that's the biggest learning difference for our team, is how to go hard all the time. And we'll go hard in spurts and you'll see, but then, like I say, that's the biggest thing we're learning. So the Sun Belt's pretty gritty. We like to use that word. The kids know how to fight, and they're making us earn every point, and we just have to get used to that level.
Brant Freeman, my broadcast partner on the Texas State Bobcat Radio Network, now joins us. And Brant, big win on Saturday, and of course, a big part of the story was the dynamic duo running game of Rob Lowe and Chris Nuttall. Coach Fran and I talked about it. Combined 267 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. Great job.
A great job. And you were mentioning in the broadcast the need for more big plays. Well, Chris Nuttall provides you with a 34-yard touchdown run, a 35-yard run sets up another touchdown, and Robert Lowe had a 59-yarder in the game as well. Talking more about Robert Lowe, Bill, past 2 games, 310 yards rushing. You look at his numbers so far, 619 for the year, and he has 7 touchdowns. If you look at the pace of that now, he's on pace to become the Bobcats' first 1,000-yard back since Carrington Bush in 2008, and 14 touchdown pace is what he's on right now. And that would match him with Claude Mathis for the 3rd most all-time in a single season in Bobcat history. He got that back in 1997. So the running game, big element so far for the Cats, going to be huge this Saturday against a very good South Alabama Jaguar football team.
Better than I think many of us expected, if you think back to August and kind of previewing the Sun Belt Conference. And you look at what the Jaguars have done so far, 3-3 record, but keep in mind a 7-point loss in Knoxville at Tennessee, a heartbreaking 1-point loss at Troy in Sun Belt Conference play, and they've got playmakers. They're averaging over 31 points per game, puts them near the top of the Sun Belt Conference. They have Jay Jones, a JUCO transfer, who's averaging 5.6 yards per carry. But it's really Ross Matheny, their quarterback, who really is the engine for that offense, completes well over 60% of his passes. He's thrown 6 touchdowns. He's run for 7 more. He can do both things, and they have 2 of the top 8 tacklers in all the Sun Belt Conference. The Bobcats, like this past Saturday, are going to have to strap on their helmets and be ready.
I really want Bobcat fans to show up in droves as well. Homecoming coming up this Saturday, and keep in mind that 3 of the final 4 games are on the road. You only have 1 more chance to watch the Bobcats beyond this Saturday against the Jaguars. Also should note that if the Bobcats can get a win this Saturday, it'd be the 500th in the history of the Texas State program. So hope to see you there. More so than ever, this Saturday, we need you to unleash that battle cry. For everybody in Inside Bobcat Football, I'm Brant Freeman, and we'll see you next time. Tim Gay breaks a tackle down the sideline across midfield, inside the 30, 20, 15. They will not catch him today. Touchdown. Catch Inside Bobcat Football with Dennis Francione, Tuesday on the Time Warner Cable Sports Channel, and in Houston, Thursdays on the Comcast Sports Network.
Texas State is a place that encourages dreams and offers connections that make those dreams come true.
A place that engages minds and hearts. a place that puts my passion to work in ways to strengthen my community.
What I learned at Texas State helps me reach beyond the campus and make a difference in the real world.